What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. I'm your host, Kier Bogor, and you are now tuned in to No One Watches Regular News. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. So, I wanted to come on and talk about the issue with the fractured Democratic Party. They seem to be united only when they're on camera. But what we don't know is what's happening behind the scenes. So, here's an interview. This is Nancy Pelosi on Sunday morning, CBS.
It's been a time of turmoil in Washington, a time that's also seen Representative Nancy Pelosi in what's become her customary position. Of power, an art at which Nancy Pelosi is something of a master.
She's talking with Leslie Stahl of 60 Minutes about matters public and private.
My husband and I have never talked about this. The doctors have supported that because they don't want him to revisit it.
Because of the trauma of October 28, 2022, when a man broke into their house in San Francisco and hit Paul Pelosi, then 82, in the head at least 3 times with a hammer. Surgeons had to remove part of his skull to save his life.
You were the intended target. He
Yes.
was looking for you.
Yeah. He was looking for me. Imagine the guilt of all of that. He was an instigator of violence and then made light of it.
I've decided the best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation. It's the best way to unite our nation.
There have been reports that it was Nancy Pelosi who orchestrated a coordinated effort to squeeze President Biden to drop out.
Please tell us what you told President Biden to persuade him to step aside.
Well, I've never shared any conversations with the president of the United States publicly. No.
Yes, they would never do that. She would never reveal what she really did or said. They can't do that. Again, they have to make it seem like that the Democratic Party is united and there's no issues. So she's going to say all the right things to make it seem like there's nothing wrong.
It's said that he's furious at you. Is he?
Well, he knows that I love him very much.
I understand that you don't want to own this, but it is so well reported
No.
that you were the leader of a pressure campaign.
No, I wasn't a leader of any precious party. Well, let me say things that I didn't do. I didn't call one person. I did not call one person. I could always say to him, I never called anybody. What I'm saying is I had confidence that the president would make the proper choice for our country, whatever that would be. And I said that, whatever that is, we'll go with.
Had you seen a decline in Joe Biden, and did you think he needed to step aside?
No. My whole point was,
So if the answer is no, that you didn't see an issue, why drop out? Why have Joe Biden drop out? If there was no issue with his physical health, his mental health, if there's no issue, why drop out? If it was a neck and neck race, why would Joe Biden just have to drop out in order for someone else to step in? It doesn't make sense, really.
whatever he decides, but we have to have a more aggressive campaign.
She mentioned his many accomplishments, including his forceful leadership of the NATO summit with other Western heads of state.
So he was in a good place to make whatever decision, the top of his game. Such a consequential president of the United States, a Mount Rushmore kind of president of the United States.
Are
Want
you
to know
really
what comes
saying
next.
that he belongs up there on Mount Rushmore? Lincoln and Joe Biden.
But you got Teddy Roosevelt up there, and he's wonderful. I don't say take him down, but you can add Biden. We have big needs for our country.
It doesn't make sense, really. Why give him this praise as a great president, but yet in 3.5 years, his own party forced him out? It didn't make sense. Of course, they won't tell you the full story or the truth. They can't do that. They have to make it seem like they're united. Here's the Joe Biden story. Joe Biden is going to explain why he dropped that. And again, it just doesn't make sense if they felt like this was the guy, that Joe Biden was the man, and that he could lead them, then just make it Joe Biden. Why make it anybody else but Joe Biden? Why? If you felt confident in Joe Biden, why make it anybody else? If you knew that Joe Biden could beat Trump, if you felt that. It wasn't the debate, it wasn't his health problems. Um, no, it was something else going on behind the scenes that we don't know, we didn't see. Now I've read to where uh they didn't like, especially Pelosi, she didn't like the fact that Joe Biden had his own operation going, like Obama, like her, like Chuck Schumer. So once Joe Biden quit playing team ball, once he was no longer a team player, they were done with him. The donors were done. So it wasn't just the debate. It wasn't just his health. His conditions wasn't the issue. It was internal things going on, infighting within the Democratic Party, that led to Joe Biden being pushed out. That was the issue.
And you make this historic decision. Tell me the story.
Look, the polls we had showed that it was neck and neck race, would have been down to the wire. But what happened was a number of my Democratic colleagues in the House and Senate thought that I was going to hurt them in the races. And I was concerned if I stayed in the race, that would be the topic. You'd be interviewing me about why did Nancy Pelosi say, why did so, and I thought it'd be a real distraction, number one. Number two, when I ran the first time, I thought of myself as being a transition president. I can't even say how old I am. It's hard for me to get out of my mouth.
So right there.
For me to get out of my mouth. And you'd be interviewing me about why did Nancy Pelosi say, why did so, and I thought it'd be a real distraction, number one. Number two, when I ran the first time, I thought of myself as being a transition president.
So he said that he thought of himself as a transition president. So he was looking to just be in there long enough to get the ball rolling for himself, just like Pelosi, Obama, and Chuck Schumer. He wanted his own separate operation. This is what led to his own team trading him, basically.
I can't even say how old I am. It's hard for me to get out of my mouth. And but things got moving so quickly, it didn't happen. And the combination was that I thought it was a critical issue for me, still is not a joke, maintaining this democracy. But I thought it was important because although it's a great honor being president, I think I have an obligation to the country to do the most important thing we can do, and that is we must defeat Trump.
And you make this.
So defeat Trump, well, that was their main goal, is to defeat Trump. Even in 2016 was beat Trump. 2020 beat Trump. Now in 2024, it's about beating Trump. So outside of any other goal or plan, hey, just beat Trump. That's our goal. It's to only beat Trump. So here's an article. This says Biden harbors lingering frustration at Pelosi, Obama, and Chuck Schumer. Ahead of the convention that's meant to unify the party, tensions still remain. I've seen several articles like this written about what's going on within the Democratic Party, and it's not looking good. It says right here, President Joe Biden is frustrated that Barack Obama wouldn't tell him to his face that he should lead the race. He's angry with Nancy Pelosi and views her as ruthless for ushering him out the door. And he's still miffed at the role Chuck Schumer played too. Biden has told his closest aides and associates that he is coming to terms with his decision to bow out of the presidential race last month, but still harbors some frustration toward members of his own party he believes pushed him out, according to three people familiar with Biden's thinking who are not authorized to speak publicly about private conversations. So, based on this article and other articles that I've read, it's obvious that it's lingering tensions between Democratic leaders. It's tensions. But why is there tension? Everything points back to Joe Biden and what he wanted. He wants his own operation outside of Pelosi, outside of Obama and Chuck Schumer. They didn't want that for him. So once Joe Biden no longer wanted to be a team player, they were done with him. The donors, even George Clooney was done. They were all done. So they looked to replace him. So Pelosi went to Joe Biden and said, "Look, the easy way or the hard way. Which way? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Because either way, I back you. But just know if you choose the hard way, it's gonna get ugly real fast." So going into this election for Harris, this is not a good thing. For VP Harris to be kind of stuck in the middle of this battle is not a good thing. Because in 3 years he got put out. So what happens if she wins, right? And they can't keep the show up. Just like now everything is scripted, it's planned. How long can they keep this up? What if her first year, second year, third year is bad? People that once loved their supporter will turn on her, even the media. So this is the issue with the Democratic Party. If they don't have any unity, you can't ask people to come out and vote for you. And within your own party, you have these issues in private. It just doesn't make sense. You're better off letting him go on and lose the race. This is why I think that when it comes to Harris, by them putting her in and getting behind her, in my opinion, this is a simple signal of look. The only reason why we're putting her in is for a favor, because we know people will be upset if we don't at least give her a shot. So we're going to give her a shot, make it look good, campaign, endorse her, raise money. We're going to do it like we should do it. Make it look good. And then once it's over, it's over. We're done with her. She could never run again. Because I guarantee you this, either way, if Harris loses this, she's done forever. If she wins this, it's going to be a lot of people that will be done with the Democratic Party. If she does not go on to perform and do better than Joe Biden. This is why with her, if you're going to plan this out, you have to plan for 4 years. That's tough. Interviews, press conferences. You have to plan this for 4 years for her. So can they, people that's within her campaign that run their party, that will control everything, can you do this for 4 years? Because we saw for 3 years you couldn't do it with Joe Biden. So what makes me think that I can have confidence in a party that could hold her up for 4 years until she's done with her first term? This is why it's difficult. This is why I asked the question: a united Democratic Party or a fractured Democratic Party? Because it does not look good for them right now. It don't look good, in my opinion. If Joe Biden failed like this, I don't think they care if Harris wins or loses. I just don't think they care. But for 4 years, that will mean they will have to hold her up, protect her, any issues, imperfections. They have to hide that for 4 years. If we're seeing this right now, frustration, tension, people are upset. Can you keep this up for 4 more years with Harris? If people are not happy within their party, there's issues, tension, like now with Joe Biden and Pelosi. Can they do that? That's a good question. That's a good, honest question to ask. Can they do this for 4 years with Harris? Because they couldn't do it with Joe Biden.